you think the Nigeria you dreamt of is what we have now?
What we have now is a nightmare.
Hmm.
Actually, if I'd seen today's Nigeria in my dream, I would say, God forbid bad thing. Complete nightmare.
Welcome, viewers, wherever you are. This is Throwback. Throwback is a program that is meant to bring back memories, but more importantly, to refresh our history, our story as a nation, and through the eyes and the lives of people who have seen it, who have been there. Like they say in America, been there, done there. Viewers all over the world, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Yemi Farounbi. Welcome, sir. It's nice to see you.
How are you?
I'm fine. Nice to see you. Um, I think the best point to start is this. I'm just going to say, who is Yemi Farounbi from your mouth, sir?
Wow. I always say Yemi Farounbi is Yemi Farounbi.
Definitely. Absolutely.
Son of a Reverend pastor of the Anglican Church, born in the rural areas in the heart of Ekiti land, went to primary school in the heart of Ekiti. So many primary schools because my father was a pastor. As they posted him from one Anglican church to the other one, I shifted school.
Wow.
Ended up in Christ School at Ekiti. It was also an Anglican secondary school at that time. Finished there, looked for jobs, and spent some time in Molusi College, about 6 months, trying to do an HSC.
Molusi College in Ijebu.
Ijebu.
Wow.
Thereafter, I did the entrance exam to University of Nigeria. You know, there was no JAMB at that time. Each university conducted its own admission. There was also centralized admission. They chose the candidates they wanted. They conducted the interviews they wanted. So I got admitted to University of Nigeria to read geology. So I started my university education learning about rocks, about fossils, about crystals, about minerals, and all of that. I switched over because I was not particularly financially buoyant. I'm an unusual child of grace. I couldn't pay my fees, but ran into a senior friend who paid my fees for the first time at University of Nigeria. The second time was a little bit difficult. My mother borrowed what you call Uluweli, 2 shillings on a pound. And I did that. So the Civil War came, and the military governor of Eastern Nigeria then, Lieutenant Colonel Odumegojuku, said he couldn't guarantee the safety of non-Igbos, so I have to leave the rest of Nigeria. We all came home and were distributed as it were. So I ended up at the University of Ife, where I graduated. Thereafter, I was a teacher. So if there's one thing I've been also, apart from being broadcasting, is being a teacher. I taught at primary school, I taught at secondary school, at the American Grammar School. I taught at the university level. I taught at University of Nevada, Department of Language and Communication for some time. So I came into broadcasting. So if you sum all of this up, Yemi Farounbi is a teacher, an educator, a broadcaster, born to a Christian home, brought up in a Christian way, a politician, a diplomat.
You have covered what I wanted to ask about your pedigree, birth, parents, and education. But how did you get into politics? Let's start from there. I'm going back to, I'll go back to other things,
No
but just
problem.
the word politician. How did you get into politics?
Let me tell you one thing. I think God can be very mysterious in His ways. One of the things I never thought I would do in my life is politics. I didn't particularly like politics. Um, you're doing the kind of politics somewhere, something hard. Then I had seen Operation Wete
Okay.
in Western Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
After the election of 1965, I've seen houses burned. I've seen vehicles burned. I've seen human beings macheted. So I was scared. So if there's one thing I ever wanted to do was politics. But I had been GM in NTV, later NTA Ibadan, and I had been transferred to Akure, and eventually I left Akure. That's also another story.
Yeah, I'm get to that, but I just want that entrance
So
into
when
politics,
I
and I'll bring
left,
you back to how you even got into broadcasting. But I just that bit of politics because to me, you appear more like a very unusual politician to me.
Absolutely.
I did not see the affluence of the politician in this place. I see very humble lifestyle.
Yes,
I did not see the rhetoric of accolades out there waiting to get something, but I know that you were in politics. That's why I said, how did you get there?
So when I left NTA, I was going to film production.
Okay.
But somehow, Shibolagi, who was then the governor of Oyo State,
The old Oyo State.
old Oyo State, decided he was going to set up his television station to rival my old station, NTA Ibadan. And according to him, his leader, this is how he used to put it, my leader started the first television in Africa. I, Bola Eke, want to be remembered for starting the best television in Africa. And in his words, the mecca of television in Africa, where everybody will find something to buy. He said, like a Middle East market. You go there, you get something that suits your faith. And he decided that I was the only one who could do it for him.
Wow.
And I had left NTA, retired from NTA at the age of 37 or so. And I was. So he came looking for me and told me, I want you to do this for me. And I said, no, I will not do it. I said, why? We are friends now. I said, no, I don't like politicians. I said, my experience with politicians in NTA was not a particularly happy one, so I didn't want to have it with him. So he said, okay. This was in London.
Okay. Were you in London that time?
As soon as I left NTA in July, I went to London.
To stay or to?
To stay, because I wanted to go into film production.
Okay.
So he came. Somehow he found out the telephone number of where I was staying. Of course, I forgot I was a governor. I had access to security. Okay. So he just called and said, and I picked the phone. I was staying with a good brother of mine, Austin Adede, is now late. Number 1 University Street, Tottenham Court Road, London. And I picked up the phone and said, hello, said Bola Eke. I said, I knew the boss. Uncle, where are you calling from? He said, London. How do you get to this number? You forget I'm governor. I want to come and see you. I said, see me. Uncle Emma Sobey. It's for me to come. Where are you?
That you are with me now.
And I went. He was staying somewhere in front of Harrod's church. Somewhere. So I went there and he said, Yemi, you left anything, you didn't even tell me. I didn't have to tell you now. He said, no, what are friends for? You should have told me. In any case, I want you to come back. I want to start the best television. So you must come. And you are the only one who do it. If you don't come, I won't do it.
Just like that.
I said, I am not coming. I can give you the chance. They said, okay, when are you coming back to Nigeria? I said, I'll be coming for my birthday, you know, with my family. They stay in Nigeria anyway. They said, okay, so you'll be there at October 1. I said, yes. Truly, I came 2 days to October 1, 1981. And my uncle was governor. He was doing a parade in Liberty Stadium. And I sat in this same sitting room watching the television live. And I saw something rolling. Governor of Oyo State has appointed Yemi Farounbi. My head blew up. I said, what does it mean? How can he do that? I told him I would do it.
That sounds more like what military people would do.
So I said, all right. If he knows how to make appointment on television, I will tell him how to reject on television too. So I started writing the list. I would go take it to NTV, but tell them I've rejected and so on. Of course, because of the circumstances of the way I left NTA, a lot of my friends were excited
that you would do it.
So they came here. Oh, congratulating me. Some people bring
the people that you wanted to go and report to so that they can say I don't want it.
Yes.
That they come to congratulate you.
To congratulate me. They said champagne to I said, I don't want to do this. They said, no, you will do this one. Of course. And the other in my town sent me a message, said, all their life, none of their sons have been given appointment by government. You are the first one. We thank God for it. So we must come home and we do celebration. So I just kept quiet. So I started work 2nd September.
October.
Now just to answer your question.
2nd September.
2nd October 1981.
Wow, just immediately. It was it took immediate effect.
It took immediate effect. So I started work, but because we wanted to do this television, and he had a dream which I keyed into, and I expanded the dream, giving my own experiences and intuition that, okay, you want the best television in Africa, you're going to have one in Igbo, that'll be studios. Something like any of the Pinewood studios or the Hollywood studios. So people can come from all over the world and shoot their film. Labor is cheap here. Cost of living is cheap there. It will be an attraction. And then we will have somewhere in BCS a news studio for covering Oyo State and so on. And in the cultural center, we have the large.
Very interesting. I wanted to know how you got into politics. Now we are getting into your career.
I'm going to leave job. So
because I want to go back into that career bit, but I want it to be
Yes, I will come back to it. Yeah. Because we had the big dream.
Okay.
So we needed time for it. Sure. And I came in 1981, and elections was in 1983. So that there was no way I could complete that dream in 2 years. So we said, okay, we'll do the news studio, then we'll start on the bigger production center. It will take years because we got the battle to build it, to test.
The one in Iwo?
Not the one in Iwo. So if I must complete the job, then Bolegi must stay longer than 1983.
Wow, that's true.
So, and that means he must campaign to be elected. And so it was in my own interest, if I'm not going to have an abandoned dream,
okay,
I must
win the election.
That's how I got to go.
Now, let's take it this way. It means you took ownership of the dream once he has,
once he has given me
go ahead.
The dream and go ahead. And he said, go and think about it. Yeah. And we had a committee. We had Tejuile, who was my big mentor, was the one who gave me my first job in broadcast. We had the principal of the Polytechnic then, I think it was Popola or something.
Okay.
We had him,
Not Adeoye.
not Adeoye. I think either before, after Adeoye. I think.
Adeoye, yeah.
Then I told him I needed somebody, and that was Latibusari.
Ah, the engineer.
Fantastic brain.
Wow.
After Maduka, that's the best engineer I met
In broadcasting.
in broadcasting.
I remember that name.
Brilliant.
Now. Yeah.
Absolutely. But so I said I needed him.
Where was he then?
I was in Radio WIO.
Okay.
So he said, okay.
Is he still around?
He's still around. Oh, I was still with him in the last layer. I did the layer in the south. We still maintain the relationship.
That's wonderful.
So we took possession of that dream.
Yeah. And with his full support, though, because he wanted it anyway.
Oh, he wanted it.
Yeah.
So when we have developed the dream, perhaps beyond his own expectation, I don't know, but he was excited by it, and he said, Yemi, we will do it. That's how we started.
So this team was made up of yourself, Engineer Latibusari.
Eventually, the two of them stepped out. I was left with Engineer Busari.
Okay.
So
it was like the powerhouse.
Oh yeah. We meet at night, meet in the day, meet on the field, everywhere, and it was a fantastic person. And then of course we had the firm of engineering consultant led by Engineer Darin, who worked together in WNTV.
Now, all these resources were local. But I'm wondering now, because it looks like the way we see things now in Nigeria is like our local engineers, they can't do anything right.
No.
So these were local resources.
They were all local. Engineering was local. Engineer Deyinka went to Abu. Engineer Falade went to Unilag. You know, my experience in WNTV had shown me that we were more resourceful than we imagined we were. There was a particular incident I never forget. Okay. WNTV bought one equipment. It was called Ampex. Very huge.
Ampex. I remember Ampex.
Yeah, you know, very huge tape like this. Yeah. And we bought it, and the manufacturer couldn't install.
Those who manufacture couldn't install in Nigeria.
They couldn't install in Nigeria. So the machine was put in an air conditioned room and locked off. An engineer, Vincent Maduka, my Oga, was an engineer.
I've met him too. When I was working in Lintas, I went to do, I was doing a documentary for Lintas 75th anniversary, and I went to his house in VI.
Yeah, very close to what was the chairman of Lintas there?
Moemeke. They were friends. They gave me all those lists. I actually traveled Nigeria there to do that documentary. So
fantastic brain. Absolutely brilliant. A great engineer, a great manager, a great motivator.
It was one of a kind. I remember.
So he walked into the room. He took the manual alone.
That's
and after a day or so, the machine worked.
Wow.
The machine that the manufacturer could
Those who manufactured it could not install it in Nigeria, but he made it work.
So Nigerians have that capacity. We didn't have any foreign intervention in everything we did. Engineering, programming, whatever it was in that television service we were creating. It was all local material.
Okay.
I think the only foreign, the person who was trained abroad would have been Busari.
But we is in Nigeria. So we've never happened. Even if we trained in the moon, we still practice in Nigeria.
Nigerians are good. I mean, when we talk about that, the creative world, Nigerians are excellent. That's why Nollywood is starting.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That makes I'll talk about that at the points about the Nollywood. Some of the things that are making wave today. I know there are Nigerians who have tried them.
Yes.
I mean, for instance, I know someone who tried to put drama on tape way back before around 1991, before home video became popular. Now,
1991. That was even late. In 1981, when I left NTA and I was going to go into film production, BBC and RAI, they were experimenting with video to shoot a film. You know, we used celluloid. That was what we used to do.
That's very cumbersome.
Or 35 mm. And I was there. My son. And the only difference is that video is very, very sharp.
Yes.
Film has a dull output, but you can get that dull output with effect.
And then
so when I came back to Nigeria, at the time Bolegi now got me back, I set up my own company, Labzidor.
And I said, not Labzidor, somewhere in the
I said, I'm going to use video to shoot film. Video is just a camera. The film making process is not the same as we used to do in television. You know, television, you put everything in the studio, you put all the sets, and in 30 minutes, you record it 30 minutes. Well, you do this scene by scene, and so on and so forth. And I tried it, and it worked.
Okay. And we'll go to that. I don't want to.
So
I don't want to go to that one.
I'm just going to reinforce what you are saying.
Yeah.
That what that Nigerian was doing in 1981, using video, nobody ever knew that cellular would fade off.
Nobody knew. Nobody ever knew that. And then it wasn't even digital video.
It wasn't digital video.
It was analog. It was just regular.
Yes. You know, so Nigerians are very resourceful.
I like that. That's very inspiring because I know. So from that relationship with Chidbolage, or the formation or setting of TSOS, as it were, Television Service of Oyo State, was that the point that you went into politics because you wanted him to win the election?
Yes, I started assisting him. I monitored his campaign. I organized the biggest campaign I would have ever had. It was in Mapu Hall.
So you became like the voice and the face of Bolage's campaign?
Yes. And I had some two friends, Wakoti YT.
Okay.
One was Tunde Adenio.
Okay.
T. Y was Yemi Farounbi.
Okay.
The other T was Tola Atimo.
Tola what?
Atimo.
Okay.
Tunde Adenio was political science.
Okay.
UI. Tola Atimo was human nutrition. UI. But we were bound together in our conviction in the capacity and effectiveness of Bolegi to deliver on the dreams of Awolowo. So we were sold out.
And I already started free education at that point.
At that point. So by the time he now lost the election,
which we will get to that because I remember
that
as a young man.
When I now got fully involved in politics. Because when I was still helping him, is for him to win so I can do my job.
Okay, now he has lost?
Now he has lost.
Okay.
But I got introduced to Chief Awolowo in the course of the
election.
And all of them had been put in jail by General Buhari. So we were the only younger ones left to be visiting Awolowo.
Oh.
Because all his clothes had been removed.
Yeah. And in Yoruba, you never did so we had to
be going to greet him
Baba,
regularly, and Baba
there
would
is still
tell us
hope.
stories and so. And in the course of that, Baba will send me on errands. Oh, they've asked me to go to this meeting, go and represent.
Can we say that that made you to become an Awoist?
Yes, I became an Awoist.
Okay.
I became a politician. So when the Babangida now came and he wanted politicians to start political parties, but he didn't want the old ones. He said they were banned. So I was the face representing Baba Olowo. So I was in charge of Southwest. Eventually, I became the national deputy chairman of the party, courtesy of that relationship.
What
So
party?
that's how I got there.
What was the party?
It was then called People's Solidarity Party.
PSP.
They were using the blue as symbol there.
Can I say that APC stole that from you then?
Yeah, they stole without paying.
They stole the group. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, now that was your inroad into politics. We can be on this for longer than this because that's a very interesting part. I mean, let me ask at this point, what was it like? I mean, you've told us the relation with Awolowo. Do you think the dream you had that time, or what you envisioned, have you been able to realize it? Do you think the Nigeria you dreamt of is what we have now?
What we have now is a nightmare. Actually, if I'd seen today's Nigeria in my dream, I would say, God forbid that. Complete nightmare.
What was the dream like? What were you thinking of? What Nigeria were you seeing?
Talking to Chief Bolegi, interfacing with Baba Awolowo, putting this together with my own makeup, background, and so. But looking at a Nigeria that will be on top of Africa, that will be equal to any country in the world. You know, can you believe that in 1960, Nigeria was ahead of all the countries in Africa?
Economically?
Yes. Rated above Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand. We are ahead of them. Today we are the poverty capital at the bottom. That wasn't the dream. When you are giving free education to people, and in the UPN of Bola Ige, Jakande, Onabanjo, Ajachi, and so, they had three possible paths. Went to secondary school. You could from there go to a college of technology, end up at NG, or you could go into a polytechnic, end at HND, or you go into a university, you like go and do your PhD. The whole idea was that those who went to the polytechnic will be the engine room of the technological revolution they were thinking of. They were thinking of farm settlements. They were thinking of, they had 15 settlements in the whole western region that was in charge of cows, dairy production, a breed of our own local cow, an Argentina cow.
This was in the 60s.
This was in the 60s. So they were thinking of people who run these agricultural settlements, farm settlements. Not people who use hoes, not people who use cutlasses. They were thinking of people who do mechanized farming. And therefore they need not just artisans, not just tradesmen that the trade center will produce, but technologists. There will be a bridge between thinker and implementer. And so we created in Oyo State 27 colleges of technology. and the polytechnics that had
Oyo State or
branches.
Western States?
I'm talking even of Oyo State.
In the
Oyo
time of
State,
Bolage?
yes, we had a polytechnic Ibadan, with campus in Iruwa, with campus in Shaki, campus in Esauke, campus in Ire. All of them have become full polytechnics.
Yeah, one of my boys there actually graduated from the one in the
So the whole idea was that we produce a generation of people who revolutionize agri, industrialization, and so on and so forth. We are not thinking of creating job seekers. We are thinking of creating job providers at that time. Now we're seeing people japping. That's not the dream.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dream was that.
Okay, I don't. I want you to go on, but I want to take you a little back so that you can give us a real background. Like I said, pre-recording, part of the reason why we have this program is to let our children of today know what Nigeria we had before. We want them to know that we have a history, because right now Nigeria seems to have no history. The only thing they hear is, I was asking someone now who said they taught them in political science classes, and all they taught them were the Abachas of this world, the Murtala Mohammed. They never mentioned Awolowo. One day I was preaching and I asked a young man, I said, who amongst you knows anything about Awolowo? He said, Awolowo. Is it the one that? I said, Awolowo. We don't know. And I said, I cried.
You are right. That is the reality.
So which means, so we want our history back. Even if we cannot recreate it, we can still retell the story and tell them. So now, what was it like? What was the political scene like in Nigeria pre-colonial, during the colonial and post-colonial period? We mentioned a little bit about the post-colonial, with what the Awolowo's were doing, but
pre-colonial.
Yeah.
There was no Nigeria.
Okay.
Yorùbá tó bí. Ṣé ìgbà yẹn náà a kì í jẹ́ Yorùbá. A ní empire Ọ̀yọ́. Kì í ṣe ibi tí wọ́n wà sí náà wà o. Ọ̀yọ́ kẹta náà wà yìí. Ó wà ó kọjá bídà sókè.
Ní ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn tápà lọ́hùn.
Àwọn tápà gan-an gbà míì.
Ara wa ni wọ́n.
Ara wa ni a máa ń káwọ̀ sí ẹ̀rọ bàbá dẹ́kọ̀ ní tápà tápà ní àbọ̀ owó sódì gbogbo ẹ̀ tápà.
Tápà ni wọ́n lè fi ẹ̀ mo rántí yẹn.
Àwọn tápà gan-an ní máa kọ́kọ́ wá ní Yorùbá.
Àwọn náà fún wa lórúkọ Yorùbá.
Àwọn máa ń pè bẹ́ẹ̀.